Through the process of creating our film, I've actually learned quite a lot of things. For example, the first thing that you need to do whenever you're making any film is have some general knowledge about it. So we had to do a lot of research on it. For example, my job in our film was mostly the mise-en-scène and sound. So we had to do a lot of research, and I had to do a lot of research on my own about like typical films that are related to our genre and similar. For example, Hunger Games, iRobot, and Equilibrium. So, for example, our sound, I had to listen to the sound for Hunger Games and iRobot and Equilibrium that made it sort of iconic so that you know it's a dystopian film. For example, in Hunger Games, the whistling sound that they had. So for my film, I went to a site called Audio Network, which was a website, and I had to look through different films, and then I had to pick the one that I thought best represented a sci-fi, at the same time sounded like a dystopian film. And then I also had to like check about our font so that our film would be able to be distinguished as a dystopian film, because I knew I couldn't have just a normal font. So I went to a site called The Font, and then after like scrolling through tons of pages for about 30 minutes, I then found the font that I thought best described our film. I also had to do lots of photoshopping. For example, the map that we used for our government sing, I had to Photoshop the actual map because we actually got it off Google Maps, or Google Images, I mean. And then we just took the map, and the map had lots of problems at the beginning because like there were some things that we didn't need, some things that we did need, but in general it worked. So I had to go on Photoshop, and then for like a few days, it wasn't just a one-step process. I had to crop out some things, I had to add some other things, and then get symbols and all that stuff. So through the process of creating our film, I had to learn more about Photoshop, I had to learn more about sound, do lots of research for it, and also for our fonts to make our film similar to other films that we've done.
So for our title sequence, I was given a role as lead cinematographer, and by acquiring this role, I learned how to do particular shots that were conventional to our genre, which is dystopian. And most of these shots were tracking, panning, handheld, high angles. There was some focus pulls, close-ups. Extreme close-ups are very common in my research, and mainly it was just establishing shots. So in particular, for panning, when we done our rebel scene, I would pan while using handheld footage to get the point of view aspect of our film. And we went to a graffiti street to get the full theme that was going for. And then for our Illuminati scene, evangelist scenes, we basically just used a tripod with some focus pulls to really keep the camera movement going. So for establishing shots, we had to use those to keep conventional to the genre, because in such films as Hunger Games, iRobot, there was always those established shots to set the scene so you knew where you were, sort of what was going on. So we followed that convention by using the Shard as a very key location in our film. And for the rebels, we use graffiti streets, broken fences.
So to edit our title sequence, I was given the roles to the editor, and I did this by using Final Cut Pro on the iMacs. And I learned how to edit our title sequence to like the required pace of our genre, which is dystopian themed. And I learned how to expand my knowledge on, in terms of editing, for techniques such as like invisible editing, relevant transitions and creative effects, and filters and fonts, and then fitting the soundtracks in. And I managed to use continuity editing for matching action